Brown Lounge. I'm Holly Brown, and this evening I have my husband Kevin with me.
Hi, everyone.
And we're just getting ready to go on a trip to France, one of our very, very favorite places in the world. And we were talking about the fact that the first time I ever had this dish that we're going to make for you today was when we went to Paris, and we were sitting on the Champs-Élysées, and we had moules frites in a French bistro, and it was fabulous. And so just getting in the mood for our trip, we thought we'd make that dish at home for you.
It's delicious, and you'll see that in a moment.
Great. Well, I'm going to be in charge of the frites, the French fries, and Kevin's going to be in charge of the moule, the mussels. And so let's tell you what's in it and what wine we're going to pair, and then we'll get started. The French fries, I'll just get started with that. The French fries are super simple. It's really in the way that you prepare the potatoes, the way you cut them, but basically you're working with russet potatoes, frying them in vegetable oil, and putting some nice parsley garlic butter on top when you're done.
And the mussels, we live in a great place for mussels. These are Pen Cove mussels from Whidbey Island, which is just north of Seattle. And they're soaking here in some water, and we're going to add some onion, some garlic, and some fennel, which adds a nice flavor of anise, which imparts a really wonderful flavor to the mussels themselves. And we're going to add a little bit of cream, a little bit of white wine, but most importantly, I think, is what we pair with this dish. And we've chosen a Riesling, a dry Riesling from Eastern Washington, from the Chelan AVA, that's slightly chilled. And the nice part about this wine with this particular dish is that it has a nice acidity and a nice mineral flavor, mineral quality that goes really nicely with the flavors in this dish.
Great.
So we always start.
This is one of the things I love about cooking with you. We always start with wine.
Yeah. So cheers.
Cheers. Stick around and we'll show you how to make this wonderful dish, moules frites. Okay, let's get started. So the first part of our moules frites is the French fries, and we're going to start with this beautiful russet. And the key to success with the French fries is really to cut them in very even sticks, and then to soak them in salt water for quite a while, probably about at least an hour, up to 2 hours. You can even soak them overnight if you like, but you want to basically get rid of the starch and set them up for frying. So what you do to cut is essentially you want to cut off the ends, because what we want to do is eliminate anything that is an irregular shape. And we also want to make sure that we're working with a flat surface. So just trimming that bottom. Not too much, because we don't want to waste the meat of the potato. But that way we've got a stable potato. It's not going anywhere. And then what we want to do is cut about 1/4 inch slices. And it's very important to have these all be the same size. The same thickness is the key, because you want them all to cook evenly. Now, once I've sliced and discarded all of these irregular shaped pieces, I'm going to stack a few just like that, and I'm going to cut off the ends, again taking away the irregular shape. And that gives me a nice straight edge, and now I can use my knife to create evenly shaped, almost matchsticks. So they're about 1/4 inch thick, and they're just like that. And we just keep going through the potatoes, making sure that they're all about the same size. These are a little bit smaller, so you don't want to really throw those in. These are going to be too small. They'll cook too fast. So you want to make sure that you're not wasting your food. You can actually use that for another purpose if you like. But in order to make everything fry well and have it to be cooked thoroughly, not overcooked or undercooked, you want all of those to be pretty much the same size and shape. There we go. Now, once we have about 5 or 6 potatoes worth of those, what we're going to do then is we're going to put them in some cold salted water. So as you can see, I've got all of these beautiful potatoes in this nice big pot of water. And I'm actually going to let it sit and soak for about ½ an hour to 45 minutes, and then I'm going to rinse and repeat. And essentially what that does is it removes more of that starch from the potatoes. And one of the things that the starch will do when you're frying if you haven't gone through this process, is they'll have a tendency to stick together. The French fries will. So you don't want that to happen in your frying process. When the oil is heated to about 375 degrees, then we're going to start our phase one of our double fry. So what makes a pomme frite, which is what this recipe is to actually go through a double frying process. So I'll show you that in a sec. Stick around. I'll be right back. So here's all of our French fries. Now, as I said earlier, they were soaking for about 2 hours total. You want to soak them for an hour minimum, and I transferred the water twice. So they've been in and out of fresh water so that a lot of the starch is out of it. And then I very, very carefully dried them. So you can see I put them on a cookie sheet. It's got a nice towel here, and I patted them dry with a paper towel. So now I'm going to take these, and I'm going to start putting them into the fryer. And I don't have a deep fat fryer, and frankly, you don't need one. All you need is a very heavy skillet like this one here, and we're putting our French fries in, not all of them. This is the trick, because you really want those French fries to have a lot of room in the pan. You don't want them shoved up next to each other and sticking to one another. And we're going to fry these for 5 to 7 minutes until they're golden brown. And then we're going to take them off and let them drain. And what I have here is a cookie sheet, like a jelly roll pan. And then I've got this rack, and then paper towels on top of the rack. So that way anything that drips underneath will fall right into the pan. Okay, these French fries are looking beautiful. They're golden brown. So I'm going to start taking them out with this. You can use a slotted spoon or something that's a little bit more like this, wire spoon. We're just going to take them all out and let them drain. These ones over here, we want to bring these, once we're all done, we want them all to basically be room temperature before we put them back in the fryer for a second time. Don't those look delicious? So we take all of those out and we put the next batch in. And for 5 or 6 russet potatoes, you probably want to do three total batches, 3 sets. And one of the things that I notice when I do this is the potatoes definitely have a tendency to want to stick together when you put them in in the beginning. And so it is important to break them apart and break them loose. Part of the job of soaking them in advance to get rid of that starch will help make this an easier process. But once they start cooking, then they're sort of their own little entities, and you don't have to keep them separated. But in the beginning, make sure that you do. Otherwise, you're going to have a big French fry blob. So you can see these are beautiful and golden brown. So we're just going to put them over here and let them cool and drain. And then we'll make our last batch.
Okay, now we're going to work with the les moules, which are the mussels, of course, and they're sitting here in a bowl of cold water. When you purchase the mussels from your local fish store, bring them home, keep them on ice, or put them in your refrigerator, but you want to keep them cold. And then just about when you're ready, about 20, 30, maybe 40 minutes before you're ready to start cooking them, put them into a large bowl, fill it with cold water, and add, 3-4 tablespoons of salt. Now, when you work with the mussels, make sure that any of the open mussels are discarded. Just find them and just throw them away, because they're not going to be any good. And then a few of them are also going to have some of this sort of seaweed or what they call our beards. Just pull those off and discard the beards, and then just throw them back in. Generally, when you buy mussels, they come clean. But if they're not, go ahead and pull off the beards, and you're ready to go for the next step. We've chopped some onions and some fennel, coarsely, not too delicately. You see it sitting here also with some garlic that we're going to use. So we have a skillet that's being heated, and we're going to add a little bit of olive oil to the pan. We like to cook a lot with olive oil. We're going to make sure we swirl it around a little bit, coat it thoroughly, and we're just going to add the onions and the fennel to the pan. This is about a half of an onion, a fairly large onion, and about a half of a fennel clove. Fennel cloves are about this big. And we're going to cook this for about 3 or 4 minutes. So you're not going to brown them, you're just going to basically soften them. Go ahead and take the next step and add some garlic to the onions and fennel that we've been sauteing. 3 or 4 cloves of garlic, just basically to taste. And stir that in. You always want to add your garlic a little bit later because the fennel and onions will cook slowly. That's looking beautiful. Then we're going to add our spices. We've chopped up some thyme here, fresh thyme, so just go ahead and add that to the pan. Now we're not too bashful about cooking with butter. The French cook with a lot of butter, so we're going to go ahead and add about a half a stick of butter. Just stir that into the pan. That'll, of course, melt. And we're going to add some salt and pepper. So a couple pinches of salt. Again, just to taste. Don't over salt. And a couple of pinches of pepper. And some Italian seasoning, which is oregano and a little thyme, a little lavender. I like a lot of that. You stir this up, and the smell from this pan is unbelievable. This is going to be infused into the mussels here in a minute. So we're going to add a little bit of whipping cream here. I'm going to add maybe about 1/4 cup to 1/2 cup and let that cook. So we've added the cream, and we're making sure that we're bringing it up to temperature and heating it. Just so we're going to add the mussels right to the mixture, so right on top, and stir those in and coat them really well. Again, they're beautiful. One last step before we cover this pan and simmer is that we're going to add the secret ingredient, which is white wine. So we have a bottle of white wine here. And again, just to taste, I usually use about 1/4 cup. Stir that in. We're going to taste a little bit in a minute, but the spicing should just be about right. Even them out, and then we're going to cover these. We're going to lower the heat just a little bit. So medium-low heat. And then cover your pan. And then let them sit. Now, the next step with the French fries, we're going to bring the oil back up to heat so that we can refry the French fries that we just cooked.
While Kevin's mussels are cooking, and they're going to open up and smile up at us, we've reheated the oil to 275, and now we're going to take those French fries that we just did the first time, and we're going to now put them back in the oil, and we're going to basically double fry them, and that's how you get your pommes frites. So one thing I will say is that you can use duck fat in your pommes frites, which will definitely give it a very distinct, very rich, gamey taste. And I encourage you to try that because I think that you'll like it, but you don't have to do that. This is just pure cooking oil, just regular. You can either use peanut oil or you can use regular Wesson oil or whatever brand you prefer. Do those look beautiful or what? So I'm going to take all of these out of the oil, put them back onto our strainer, our draining surface here. And then I'm going to lightly brush them with a little bit of, you won't believe it, butter, parsley, and garlic. Now, if that's just too much richness for you, just feel free to put a little bit of salt and pepper. Use some kosher salt and some nice coarsely ground pepper, like Malabar pepper or something like that. And I just chopped up 1 clove of garlic, about 5 tablespoons of parsley, and a half a cube of unsalted butter. And I'm just going to brush them like that. Not overly so, just enough to give them a little parsley color, a little garlic. These are going to be beautiful. So there we have it, right? Moules frites, there it is.
There it is, voila. So we're going to just garnish this a little bit with the top of the fennel on the very top of this dish. And we have a little bit of chopped up
Thyme.
that we're going to add as well.
Right. And I did put a little sprinkle of kosher salt on the French fries.
As the French say, voila.
Voila.
Bon appetit.
Enjoy. I can't wait to go to France and try this on the Champs-Élysées, but I'm going to try it right now with you.
Give it a shot.
Okay, let's do it. You're the master. Delicious. Try a French. I have to dip a fry.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks for joining us on the Brown Lounge. Come back again, see what we're cooking.